Hello everyone, hope you are doing great. So this tutorial will be very difficult, but it's easier than you think. So for that I will try to go as slowly as possible and trying to explain every step so you can understand why are you doing what you're doing. I don't want you to copy and paste. Let's leave the repetition for the AIs, okay? So first thing first, you will need to download the proper software. So you will download Python. The latest version, it's great. So right now it's 3.12. You download Python. Once you've downloaded, you need to download these two Python dependencies, which is this Markdown and Ninja 2. You will need to install it via a command prompt. So for that, you will go into the Windows, type cmd, and you will paste it. When you paste more than 2 actions, the first one will automatically execute it, like this one. So here I need to just hit enter now, and it will install it. As you can see, I have already installed these two dependencies, but in your case, it will start downloading all the required files. So once you've done that, let's download Visual Studio. Not Visual Studio Code, but Visual Studio, okay? And here in Visual Studio, you will download the following packages, okay? Just in case, I will recommend you to download the C++ development and development games in C++ or with Unity. Because Wwise uses C++, just download everything that looks like C++. And additionally, go into individual components and type this one, because this is for the front end, and I have some problems with building, and that was resolved by installing this one. So it's MFC in individual components, and type MFC, and you will click on the latest version. Additionally, in the packages, you will need to install the SDK that corresponds to your Windows version. In my case, I'm using Windows 10. So if you are using Windows 11, you need to click this one, Windows 11. So once you've downloaded, you will create a folder. Here I have an empty folder, and I will type here in the path, I will type cmd, and that will open a command prompt in the path of the folder, okay? So now what I want to do is to create a plugin. Where's the plugin? Well, I need to drag and drop this file, wp.py, here, and that this file is located in this path, okay? Audiokinetic, the Wwise version that you are using, scripts, builds, plugin, okay? You will drag and drop, and in order to see what the commands are available, you just type help. Okay, we can build, generate bundle, create new, package, and premake. In this case, I want to create a new plugin. So I go type the up arrow, and it will go in the latest command, and I will type new. Okay, here I want to create a new synthesizer. Okay, so I will create source. Why source? Because that's why they are called in Wwise. For example, here I have a new sound, and I click add source, and then I have all these different source generators, like audio input, silence, sine, things one, and tone generator, and some examples. That's why I want to create a new source plugin, because it's for source audio generation, okay? So I will create that. I will put source. What's the project name? It will be called test plugin or test theme, okay? The name will be the same, author, my name. The description, testing. Okay, it will ask for the information that we put. It's okay? Yes, it's okay. and you will see that into this folder, it created another folder with the files for the plugin. Okay, so now here in the command prompt, I will type cd, which means change directory. Okay, and I will put test Sine. Okay, and now look that it changed into inside the folder here. And now what I want to do is to pre-make the files that was created by this command. Why pre-make? Let's suppose that I want to make a pizza. Okay, so I bought all the ingredients, but first with the ingredients I want to pre-make the dough and pre-make the sauce, and then I will put the sauce in the dough and then add the cheese and then the oregano, and then I will put the pre-make pizza into the oven and we'll cook it. Okay, here it's basically similar. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, here the Python file created the ingredients for creating the plugin, and now we want to pre-make it into the front end and the back end. Okay, and for those who don't know, the front end is all the things that are available for the user in a plugin. Okay, so for example, here in the synth one, this is the front end of the plugin. It's everything that the user can see and manipulate. Okay, for the contrary, the back end, it's where all the computing and the DSP processing happens. That's basically the function of the Premake. We have all the files. Now we want to pre-make the files to get a front end and the back end. We want to get the sauce and the dough. So let's do that. Let's go into the plugin folder. Here we'll drag and drop Premake. What options are available? Well, again, let's put help, and we can Premake, debugger. Okay, we need to put the platforms to Premake. There's Android, authoring Windows, authoring Windows. In my case, I'm gonna put authoring. Okay, so I will Premake authoring, and look what's happened here in the folder as soon as I click OK. Okay. It pre-make it into the front end and the back end. And we can test that by double clicking, because I've installed Visual Studio 22. The version 22 corresponds to the Visual Studio 170. Okay, so if you have an earlier version, you need to go into 160. Okay, so let's double click that, and there you go. These two folders, I don't know if they are folders, correct me if I'm wrong. This is the front end, okay? And this is the back end of the plugin. So great. Before going to the plugin, let's check if the plugin works. So let's create a simple Sinetone, okay? So for that, I want to go into the test theme source. And then I want to go into the execute function. Then there's where the function or where the DSP happens. So let's go down here, execute. Okay, test in source, execute. And I will replace it with this code. Don't worry, I'm gonna provide you with this code. This is basically, this generates a sine tone, okay? If you want to go deeply, or sorry, more deep into this is C++ heavy stuff. maybe I can go in another video. This is not about C++, but integrating Max in Wwise with the bare minimum of knowledge. Okay, so you can then experiment. Let's check. There's an error. There are warnings. There are always warnings. So I want to put it here. I will put it for release. And I think, okay, that was, no. There are always warnings. Let's click in build solution, and it will start building. And it succeeded. So I think that the plugin was created. So let's check it out. Okay, so the plugins will be created into this path: AudioKinetic, your Wwise version, authoring, 64, release, bin, and plugins. Okay, here, okay, testing, and you can see it here. If in add source, there's the Sine. Okay, I already added, so let's check it out. It's a simple Sine test. So we are sure that the plugin works. So now, let's get back into Max. Okay, so I've created this patch, and I think that this is pretty simple, and it can be really difficult to achieve in a Wwise project. Okay, it's just a phasor that it's being controlled by a line with a lot of randoms, and each time the line finishes, it sends a bang to the randoms that generates another number, and that gets repeated. Okay, sorry, now you can hear it. Okay, and here's the debug for the starting frequency, the time to go from the final frequency up to the start frequency, and then to the second frequency, and the time that it needs to reach out. Okay, so let's go into the RNBO. Let's click here, and you will need to click into the export the C++ source code. You will choose the folder here, and here into the Wwise folder, you will create another folder called RNBO. You will select that folder, and let's call it RNBO synth. Okay, polyphony disabled, and the class name needs to be RNBOmatic. Okay, let's export. Let's mute it, and there you have it. Okay, it's into the Wwise folder. Great. Now we need to include the Max patch into the Wwise backend. So how do we include Max in Wwise? Okay, by simply locating and including these two header files, the RNBO and all the files that are in the common folder. So let's do that. Here into the Wwise project, we need to include these two files into the backend. Okay, so let's go into the folder here, RNBO, and we will drag and drop the RNBO synth into the backend. So it's the name of the plugin that you created, source. Let's drag and drop the RNBO synth, and drag and drop the RNBO C++ here. Okay, and it will start complaining because there are things that Visual Studio doesn't find, like this one, the headers. Okay, how do we include the headers? Okay, we need to go into the testsynth source, right click, properties, and go into C++. Hold on a second. First, you will need to check the configuration that you are doing, okay? If you, here in my case, because I set a release, it's the release what I need to do. But put all configurations and you will be good to go, okay? So you will go into C++, general, and here, additional include directories. We will click here, edit. Let's add the folder here, RNBO. Remember, we need to include the RNBO header and the headers that are in the folder common. So let's do that. Let's go here, testing RNBO, and another one with the common folder. Okay, and if everything works correctly, if I type apply, the errors should gone. Okay, the warnings will still be there, don't worry. So the next thing that we need to do is to go into the header source of your synth, and here you will need to include the RNBO headers. Okay, so let's type include RNBO, and it should appear there. And then we need to create the RNBO object to reference into the execute function. Okay, so here in line 70, we will add another one at the end. Remember, it's at the end, and you will type RNBO, this create core object, sorry, and RNBO object. Okay. Finally, let's go back into the execute function, and we will need to replace, instead of the Sinetone, we need to include the exported file, this one, the RNBO synth, into the Wwise execute function. So let's do that. Let's replace all of it. Here's the explanation for what's happening here. Let's copy paste it. Don't worry, I will include this code in the description. But yeah, I'm creating the RNBO object. I use it to prepare to process. I define the outputs, process, and here it's the process of the RNBO plugin. Okay, so there's no complaining, I think. So let's create. Remember to put into release. Let's build it. Okay. Okay. Fatal. Okay. Here, test synth, the DLL. Okay. Well, it's here. So let's do it again. If this happens, let's delete it. Bye-bye. Wwise has opening the... Okay, so maybe because there's the project. I don't want it. Let's again. Why is that? Let's close. No? Okay, now yes. Let's do it again, because there... Oh, now I have an error. No. Ah, it's the DLL. Okay, let's do it again. Well, as you can see, it was good. Here's the test thing with the DLL. So here, 1 succeeded, 0 failed, it didn't complain. And now if we go into the Wwise project, it should be the same name because we didn't change the name. And if we put the duration, there's the plugin function. Okay. So great. That's how you create a Max plugin into Wwise. Okay. So what are the next steps? Okay, well, first of all, the front end of the plugin is this. It only has the duration parameter. Why is that? Because by default, it comes with the duration. And in the source plugin, okay? We're talking about the source plugin. So how do you add and link more parameters or to make it MIDI? Well, you can go into here, getting and setting parameters, and you can go into the documentation. Honestly, this is as far as I got, so I wanted to share this with you because I think this is a big step into, I mean, this works. So this, we can only build from here, okay? So I really want you to see what you got. And if you have any problems, remember this. Programmers are not food, they are friends. So in this topic, because this is audio programming and this is heavy stuff, and I wanted to show you the problems that I got, because this will always be uphill, okay? It's very difficult. They will throw an error or you won't know why it's doing that. So knowing a programmer or asking for help, it's a lot better, okay? But that's my suggestion. You can do whatever you want. So if you could do it, that's really great. I would love to see you what you got. And if you have any questions, suggestions, comments, leave it down here. If you like what I do, hit the like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video that it's probably gonna be how to implement more parameters. Bye bye.